What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism, MKO Boxing channel, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to follow me on TikTok, like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. So, I'm going to talk about a question that was posed on Talksport, and I think it's been posed by a few people. The one I saw was of Simon Jordan. So he posed this question, and it was kind of on the banner on YouTube for the Talksport. So anyway, yeah, the question they're asking: has the Saudi money that's now in boxing and the Saudi involvement made the promoters irrelevant? And as I say, this is a question posed by, in the Eddie Hearn's interview on Talksport by Simon Jordan. In my view, I think it's an intriguing question. It's a very interesting question, and it's kind of an inevitable question because we've got this injection of money coming from Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh, and he's picking the fights he wants, and inevitably you're gonna get these questions of, well, are these guys taking over? Are the promoters gonna be gone? So Simon Jordan, he emphasized that, His Excellency, and he was kind of taking a mick that you guys have got to keep calling him His Excellency, you and Frank, and he basically runs everything, and you guys just do whatever he says. And he pointed out that they had no choice really to let Ben Shalom in, and Ben Shalom is their rival, but they've got to work with him, they've got to all hold hands and stuff like that. But Eddie Hearn sort of came back and emphasized that, look, what he's about is just getting the best fights made. He's not really against Ben Shalom. He's not trying to block Ben Shalom. He doesn't really have a problem with Ben Shalom being involved. He's about getting the fights done. And although, yeah, they have a rivalry, Eddie Hearn, he's one of those guys that seems to have sort of worked with everyone, and seems willing. And anyway, so Simon Jordan, he goes on to make the statement that, look, really, the promoters are not necessary. They're not really needed. They're just glorified agents, and the Saudis, they've got the power to just turn the lights off on these promoters on any time that they want. That was his statement. He said, look, your lights can be turned off. You and Frank can be out any minute that they feel like it. But Eddie Hearn, he came back and retorted, and he said that, look, he said, look, there's a lot more to this game than just these big Riyadh season shows. There's small hall shows. There's a big infrastructure with boxing, and you can't just sort of take it over just like that. There's a lot of work that goes on. And he made it clear that, look, this is not just down to Turkey Al Sheikh. This is down to me, my team at Matchroom Boxing. My team does a lot of work. We do loads and loads of stuff behind the scenes, the marketing. So he highlighted that, look, okay, yes, they're the paymasters, but we are doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Me and my promotional company, my team is doing loads of work behind the scenes. So yes, these guys are the paymasters. They're doing a lot. They've changed a lot in boxing, but at the end of the day, my team is doing a lot of the work. So don't get it twisted, is sort of what he was pointing out. And for me personally, I believe that as much as, yes, these guys are able to pay these astronomical purses, I think the promoters are definitely necessary. But at the same time, I do acknowledge that the Saudis, they've got the money, they've got the power and everything to sort of just make whatever fight they want, because they've, as I said, they've got that cash, they've got that money to pretty much make the fights that they want, and they have proven an ability to sort of make fights that they want and make even promoters work together. So I do see where people are coming from when they say, well, it's not relevant, Eddie Hearn's going to be out on his ear, Frank Warren's going to be finished. But and also we have to acknowledge that with the Saudi involvement, we have seen fights made that we thought would never be made, like Fury and Usyk, because of the messing about of Fury and Usyk, all the stuff he's been saying, and 1 minute is made, then there's a deadline, then it's this, then it's 70-30 and all this stuff, and we thought that would never be made, but thanks to the Saudis that was made. So they have done some brilliant things. But at the same time, I do think that although, yes, they can do that, they've made these power moves, all these power moves have been collaborations with the promoters, is a point I would make. And I think at the same time, it would also be foolish for the Saudis to just get rid of promoters. Even if they could do that, it would be foolish of them to completely get rid of the promoters, because what they'd be doing by getting rid of promoters is they'd be turning their backs on guys who have got decades. In Frank Warren's case, he's probably got about 40, 50 years of experience. And if you're new to the game and you had the opportunity to work with someone with decades of experience, even Eddie Hearn's probably had 15 or so years of experience as head promoter, started off on a prize fighter, and now he's doing these big sellouts in Wembley. And by you turning your back on those guys as promoters because, oh, we've got the money to do it, so we'll just do it ourselves, you're turning your back on massive amounts of experience. And for me, I think that would be a foolish thing to do, because money cannot buy that experience. Yes, you can pay the fighters, but that money cannot buy the experience of a guy with decades of experience. So I think that would be a foolish move, because the experience is priceless. And I think also in life, generally, if you want to be great at anything, you want to be a great fighter, you should study the fighters of the past. Look at the fighters of the past. Look at their wins. Look at their losses. Look at their comebacks. Look at things they did wrong, things they did right. You always learn from the past in business, in whatever you do. So that's why I say they do need the promoters, because the promoters have got the experience that they can draw from and benefit from. So why cut that off when you can use it to your advantage? And again, I think the Saudis, they're obviously, when we think about them and whether the promoters are necessary, I think we've got to take into consideration the fact that the Saudis were obviously drawn to boxing for a certain reason. They weren't drawn to boxing because it was rubbish, but they were drawn to boxing because of the success of the promoters, along with the promoters and the success of their fighter. They're not drawn to Eddie Hearn because he's rubbish. They're drawn to him because of the success he's had with Anthony Joshua. The same with Frank Warren and Tyson Fury and all these other guys. And that's why they're drawn. They're drawn to boxing because of the success of the promoters. So obviously the promoters are doing something that's important and doing something that's relevant. And, we can't forget that. And, as I've said, the Saudis, yes, they can pay these unprecedented, unrivaled, huge purses, but boxing is a lot more than that. The business of professional boxing is a lot more than that. There's a lot more that goes into it than just simply paying the big purses. So for me, in short, I just say that yes, they can get rid of the promoters if they want, but there's a lot of contracts involved with that, so it won't be that simple. But as I say, I think they kind of need the promoters, because the promoters have got the experience of doing big shows, big stadiums, big fights. So it would be a foolish move of them, even if they could get rid of the promoters, it would be foolish of them to actually do it. So that's my opinion on it. Let me know yours in the comments section. And until next time, it's MKO Boxing, over and out.